So,
My thingy is holy, so if someone can fill in the blank, sure.
your thingy is holy?
Your nose?
You hope so.
Yeah, my mind's not working. My document.
We're all grown enough. grown up enough to talk about your penis.
There's a lot of stuff going on
It's
there.
very whole. I mean,
And
I've been to the
that
doctor
seems
so
like
many
something you need to discuss with a medical professional.
I am a medical professional. It's
Or a
perfectly
priest.
fine.
There's an
is divine.
expression. Yeah, there's an expression in Norway that the shoemaker's children. Why does the shoemaker's children have no shoes? And I feel at this point another medical professional might be beneficial to you. Is there leaking and pus involved?
No.
Okay.
It is perfectly fine.
Now that we've established Roan's penis is perfectly
Perfectly
fine.
fine and completely operational.
This is the
Let's go ahead
weirdest
and
intro.
recap.
Who would like to do the recap?
But we started out in the keep and everyone kind of split up to do their thing. Riven was still out with the primordial, hadn't returned. Jamon went to one, help with the triage, and two, speak with Jenna and just about the current situation and all. I entirely did not write down what Maya was doing. Apologies for that. So,
You went and had a talk with Sigrid.
oh yes, you had a talk with Sigrid. Thank you. Talesh went, talked with Court, communed with Court, went around the castle and helped a bit. When we got together, we kind of decided to go out to Riven at the Primordial. Figured out what that was doing, talked to it a bit, and we decided to defend it for those 10 hours it took to cast the remaining of Hallow. And we also spotted Dryads, which Riven spoke to at a later point. But we kind of all decided to stay out in the woods for the night. But Maya went quickly back to the keep to pick up the things she needed for the magnificent mansion. And dragged Sigrid way back as well. Had a nice rest in the mansion. That was a theater, which is cool. When we had a bit of a discussion what we should do the next day, and when the next day arrived, we all split up and went out to talk to everything and one. Jamon to the 13 families, Talesh and Sigrid to the druid, who's not a druid. Maya went to speak with Serenthia, and Riven went out to speak to the Dryads at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So yeah, the druid had a lot of information. Who's not a druid? So that's going to be very interesting. That was one of the gods. Riven made a pact with the Dryads. Very good idea, which Toles totally did not ruin afterwards. Just had to gather my thoughts. After everyone talked to everything and everywhere, Tolesh went out, had a talk with Court that really didn't end well at all. Almost decapitated a secret. Went out, punched some trees, which really did not make the Dryads happy either. And Riven went out to find him afterwards, after having found Sigrid and turned back to the keep. And I think that's kind of where we stopped. Please fill in blanks if there are any.
I think that was pretty good.
And as we ended, Riven had just tracked down Tolesh in the forest, and they've had a talk about emotions and stuff, as this parties want to do.
I mean, at least we're talking about our emotions now. We weren't doing that before.
Please, this campaign has been nothing but a long, hard look at your emotional states.
Alone, but now we're doing it as friends.
Woo! Progress.
A burden shared and all of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, and Sigrid had just stormed into the room
Right.
with Timon and
She's
Maya
like-
and was like,
She doesn't know what's
"Tal'Dorei is
happening.
bad."
And everyone was headed back to the castle, I believe.
Yeah, like Tal'Dorei would probably go out and try to find his axe.
Yeah, it's right where you threw it.
On the field somewhere.
Yeah. Right next to a puddle of fresh red blood that stands out from the brown old blood on the battlefield.
Wonderful.
You're welcome. So, Maya, what are you up to?
I mean, Sigrid just came and said that she almost died, right? So I guess just making sure she's okay.
She is understandably upset,
Hmm.
confused. And unsure as to what to make of the situation.
Try to reassure her that wasn't like, couldn't have been just Telesh, but I don't really know what's going on, so I don't want to say it like.
I feel like there's like a couple of times when you're like, can you explain everything that happens? And there's a bit of like jumping narrative, but eventually, because you and Jamorn, you managed to piece together like they'd return, they'd gone and spoken to the druid. A lot of the conversation was like very much between Telesh and the druid, and she
Right.
didn't understand all of it. But then they'd gone to the battlefield, and Telesh had grown I can't speak anymore. Progressively more agitated until he had lifted a weapon to her and then suddenly stopped and thrown the weapon away and ran into the forest.
There, it's okay. Don't be crying.
I don't understand did I do something wrong?
No, you didn't do anything wrong.
Jamorn, how about you?
Okay, am I with them right now, or am I doing my own thing? I would
No,
assume that I'm with
you.
them.
Yeah, you were all
Okay.
together. You were waiting for Talash and Sigrid to make an appearance.
Okay. And it's just Sigrid now, though, right? I just want to make sure the setting. Okay.
Yeah, just Sigrid. Riven ordered her to return when she went out.
And I can see that there's a cut on her neck.
There's like a silvery line. Riven did use healing on her.
Okay.
But there's like traces of blood on her clothing, on her collar, and you can tell by the amount of blood that this wasn't like someone tried to slit her throat. This was a nick.
Sure. Okay.
But still, quite out of character for Talash.
Right. Sigrid, what do you know about, and this is gonna sound weird, but your family history? Do you know really why Ronald wanted you?
I mean, we're quite well connected. My family has amassed quite a fortune, mainly in shipping and holdings, but we're one of the few trading houses that command a fleet of ships large enough to trade on every continent.
Yeah. Maybe this is a conversation that's better when everyone's here, but there's more to it than that. Maya, how quickly can we get back to the Shattered Teeth?
Does today suit your schedule?
I think today would be fine. We have to figure out.
Work a thing or two out.
Okay. We need to figure out what's going on with Talash, but probably best to let him work that out. He'll know where to find us. If nothing else, we can send to him, right?
Right.
Alright, well, let's stay with Sigrid. Sorry, what?
Dear Talash, going to the Shattered Teeth. Okay, have fun. Bye. I'm imagining a potential sending. No, I don't think it takes very long. Like maybe 10 minutes after Sigrid shows up. Riven and Talash makes an appearance.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to be like a threatening or intimidating thing, but I will kind of like just slightly put myself between Talash and Sigrid, just in like, okay, let's just make sure everything's cool type of way, not like a you stay away from your friend type of way. Like, I don't want to be aggressive about it, but like,
right.
Making sure you don't deal with like some battered woman and abusive partner situation.
Yeah, yeah. Just till we figure out what's going on, you know? It sounded like,
Until we quote figure this thing out.
Yeah. Yuck.
I mean, you can definitely hear that Jam has a past in law enforcement, even if it was the dodger side of law enforcement.
Yeah.
You mean law enforcement then?
Yeah.
I got one in. That was my one for today.
I miss the Kestrel lies counter.
I miss it
Yeah.
too.
Now she's just dead.
You know, there's a Kestrel death counter, and it's a.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Tolesh, you are met by your friends in one of the meeting rooms. I think this is probably the sunroom, the room that Maya and Sigrid used to meet in. It's one of Sigrid's favorite rooms, and she would have told you to use that for when you wanted to have private conversations, since a lot of the other common areas of the castle have been taken over by military people. And you see Maya sitting with Sigrid, Jamorn standing nonchalantly between the women and the door as you enter.
Sets up there's not going to be any voice today. My throat can't handle it.
I mean, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. Can it handle talking?
Telesh is now mute.
Telesh now has a light voice. I see Sigrid make it back. All right. I just step over towards Sigrid for obvious reasons.
She is a little paler than normal, but seems to be doing okay. A small shiver in her hands.
Telesh, we all trust you here, but I think it would be best if you could tell us your side of the story, specifically around the time you were visiting the battlefield.
Of course. But I believe it's best to start from the very beginning then. With the...
Yeah.
Sigrid and I, we went out to speak to the druid, who turned out to not just be a druid. She's a god. She was around when everything happened with the seal, with the war. She told of Io that it was not a willing sacrifice. She did not agree to it by the very sound of it. It was forced upon her by the other gods, maybe as a ploy, to take her spark in the end, which did not come to be. Because she wanted to fight, as she thought it inevitable. No, it would occur at some point. Seal will not hold forever. But she was betrayed by everyone and everything. Almost everyone and everything. Though she managed to seal herself as well. There are two seals. One that houses Io, and one that houses, well, everything else. All of that we wish not to come into this world. She, the druid, use that term loosely now, did not believe that there was a good way to redo the seal. It would never last forever. Some point it would break. Some point the battle was inevitable. So that turned things a little upside down, as you as I'm sure you can understand.
Hmm.
Though, what caused all of everything with Secret happened afterwards. As by the sound of it, Cord was also a participant in the betrayal, which I could not fully understand, since it is not... The image I have of Cord is not someone who would ever do that. So I went to the battlefield and attempted to speak to him. It went as well as you probably can imagine, telling a god that I would like some straight answers, and I believe that you should give them to me. He, instead of telling, wanted to show why he did not want the battle to take place. Potentially because he did not want to lose his brother. So he forcibly took control of my physical being, and I near killed Sigrid due to it. That's the long and short of it. I have no words of apology.
Well, thank you for that. See, Sigrid, he was possessed.
Sigrid looks slightly teary-eyed. Still a bit confused. This is a lot to take in with being possessed with gods and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a very strange month.
I can only imagine. But you also showed great strength, staying strong for that month and resisting this marriage.
Well, I was just trying to buy time.
Well, hey, it worked.
Yeah. Suppose it did. We all pay the price, though. None more than Whitestone.
True, but I mean, there are reasons why those sacrifices were necessary. Of course, if we had only known that a giant titan would appear, maybe those losses would have been lessened, but
The fury of the ancient must be released.
What?
That's what it said.
Look, I'm not quite sure what that is supposed to refer to.
The blood of the maiden must wash away sins of steel. The fury of the ancient must be released. The covenant must falter.
She looks genuinely confused.
Yeah, I'm just kind of talking out loud, or thinking out loud. Talking out loud, obviously, that's how it works, but... So that prophecy that Saranthe has been working on,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if now is a good time to turn the focus slightly away from interpretation and more toward origin.
Origin?
Yeah, like who laid it out, who prophesied it.
Yeah.
That could be very helpful.
Because we've been reading it the entire time. Or thinking about it. You know, maybe we should just visit the Shattered Teeth. I kind of stopped myself before going into more detail in front of Sigrid right now.
The what?
Mhm.
The Shattered Teeth? It's a place.
Doesn't sound helpful. Why would you go somewhere with teeth?
Well, why would you go anywhere without them?
If you're elderly, you don't really need them.
Oh, we need them for chewing.
But they're shattered, so they're not useful, Jam.
That's a good point. Anyway, it's just a place. But I have some questions for someone there.
It's a series of islands that kind of looks like broken teeth, I believe is where the
Oh.
name came from.
We're going to islands?
Yeah.
I mean, if you believe that there's something to get there, then I believe it's something we should look into.
Sigrid, can you send people that you trust to that seal? I don't think it should be left alone. And we'll have to be gone for a day or two.
Sure, I can put some of the guardsmen on it.
We'll be
Don't-
back, but... Oh, what?
Don't let them touch it, though.
Yeah, best to just leave it alone.
But make sure nothing touches it. For now.
Well, we were planning on sending troops anyway to reclaim the dead. But I'll let them know.
Alright, yeah, that'll work.
I'll I'll go inform the captain of the guard. And there's definitely a bit of like not walking around Tolesh, but still walking around Tolesh as she heads to the door.
Yeah.
And she leaves.
Maya, do you still have that scrying orb?
I do.
Can you figure out where Marima is?
I can try.
It just might save us some time and trouble if we can get closer to her than having to try to find her uninvited.
I don't know the sigil sequences for the Shattered Teeth do.
What sigil sequences do you know?
I know. Like Whitestone and I believe the White Room one now.
And Demon?
And Amon. But I mean, I think all the ones I knew were in Tal'Dorei. I don't think I got the chance.
Yeah.
I do have teleport now, though. I retrained out of
Teleportation circle?
circle, yeah.
Mhm.
This will be fun.
Excellent.
I will attempt to scry on Marima. Even though I don't know about this, but we'll see.
Mhm.
We've met the target and we don't have anything. And it's not listing my DC, but it is actually, isn't it 17 with the like it doesn't go up my DC, unfortunately, because I think mine's higher at this point.
Yeah.
DCs from an item are always set.
Yeah.
Yay, the processing that comes with opening a character sheet that you haven't opened in a while.
There's a little blue man on screen. Oh my
Oof.
god.
Boo.
Well, what about how I expected?
With advantage? Damn it.
She's like, even if you are correct in that, she's the avatar, she's magical. She's
Yeah.
Has
got high
advantage
Well, I
on
don't-
saving
stats
throws.
and that.
Ugh.
I mean, I'm somewhat familiar with the castle that we stayed in. It's not our main castle, but I mean, we'll be there in the city.
And it was part of the royal keep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right,
And
gather
it's
around
not
in a
like you'll be
circle,
stuck
children.
there. You can teleport them back again, right?
Yeah. I mean, eventually.
um, are you leaving immediately?
Are we
Well,
leaving immediately?
why don't we just try to send to her first and be like, "Hey, where you
Okay.
at? We need to talk." Maybe that's the simpler.
Well, you're talking like I have sending.
Oh,
You're talking like literally any of us have sending.
Right.
Jesus Christ! What are we doing?
Not having an arcane caster or a cleric.
Yeah, like
what
what
we're
are we
doing.
doing?
Yeah, having 16 spells
God
total,
damn.
man. I gotta be useful in combat too. I'm
I
I'm
sorry.
only a level
understand.
9 druid. What do you want from me? And druids don't get anything.
Killing me, literally.
I just got
dying.
scrying. You know how happy I was about having scrying now?
Literally dying. Okay.
Zane had sending.
Yep.
He was
But
the
he's
person who
dead.
kept in. Yeah, but he was the person who kept in touch with that contingent. Mainly Zenobia.
All right. You only YOLO once.
You gonna YOLO? Why don't you post the spell, Maya?
Let's do this.
Oh god.
And roll me a D100.
Better roll well.
Say your prayers.
1, 1, 1, 1.
No, no, no.
It's off target.
I would say we've at least seen it casually, if not
There
very
is
familiar.
that rushing sound of teleportation magic. And you find yourself transported. Wait, what happened? Oh my god.
Oh, that sounded really good.
Well, we made it here.
I have no idea what any of this means.
Well, we made it.
Everyone check to make sure they have all their limbs. I've never done this before. I mean, I've teleported, but not without a circle.
How many fingers are we supposed to have normally?
6.
12.
Oh. Oh.
One of us is Vidalka and the other's a Ninja Turtle. Okay. Well, shit. This is fine.
This is pretty.
This is something else.
You find yourself surrounded by verdant green. There is rushing water close by. You are on a small hill overlooking a city. The city is on the precipice of a giant waterfall. And if anyone magical who had paid attention in class, they would have learned that people can only arrive on the Shattered Teeth at the sites of the teleportation circle as most of the city is barred from being teleported in.
Right.
Oh, wonderful.
Smart. Really, honestly.
So it was a good thing we even made it here.
Yes.
Well, and now you can study the teleportation sigil, right?
Right.
Right.
Let me do that.
Can I get a perception check?
You bet.
From
Oh,
everybody?
starting off strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's still
That
an
one.
11.
Woo!
Oh my god! Riven, what happened? What happened? What happened to your eyes?
You rolled one better than me. Like,
I feel like Maya is very intently studying the teleportation circle and trying to like write it up in her little notebook of magic places to go. And Riven is like, I might learn teleportation. I should probably do the same.
I doubt. I doubt. But yes.
The pattern is slightly different. Just the way it's shaped. Like, it's the same magic, but it's in two different languages almost. The ornamentation is different from what you normally see in Tal'Dorei. Talash and Jamorn, you both see a group of people approaching on foot quite quickly. Most of them seem to be wearing armor.
Weapons drawn?
And not so much drawn. They're wearing they're using spears.
Ah,
Um,
all right.
but they look military,
Yeah.
and they are approaching with purpose.
I suppose you've been here before, Timon, so would believe it's best you lead the word, because I've never been here. I don't know anything.
Yeah, just let me do the talking. It usually works well.
Oh, Joe of the mighty charisma.
I don't think we are terribly, both of us.
There is no one charismatic in this party except for Maya.
From Maya, pretty much all of us are just her.
No, they approached quite rapidly, and within like 30 seconds, they are within like 60 feet. Lay down your arms.
They're attached. Oh, okay, weapons, you're right. I will put a couple weapons down. Yeah. Actually, yeah, you know what? I'll put all but one down. We don't need any trouble.
If I even have any out.
Ribbon kind of just lays down on the ground.
We're sorry for the unexpected visit, but I can assure you it's quite important.
And we have no hostile intentions.
None whatsoever.
Who are you, and what are you doing here?
We're with the Grey Hunt from Tal'Dorei, Whitestone. We've been here before. We were guests previously. Do I recognize, are they wearing anything that would like, that I could recognize from when we stayed with Marima? Like any kind of symbol or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
The guards that were with you were like the royal guards. These are obviously like more like city guards.
Okay.
So it's like these people
Sure.
rather than the people wearing blue are like the royal.
Okay. Then yeah, I would just say that we were guests here. And we come with important business.
We were not informed of your arrival.
No, unfortunately, we're under-equipped to deal with hasty situations and magical communication.
And our business is urgent enough for us dropping in like this.
Yeah, you know, the Shattered Teeth, it's very far from Tal'Dorei. Wires get crossed. Things get forgotten about.
There's a definite narrowing of the eyes. Why don't you roll me a persuasion?
Wow, you can just not roll today. So that's good.
Who is it you are here to see?
Marima?
There's a bit more like shuffling of weaponry and people looking at one another like, yeah, sure. And there's quick exchange in a language most of you are unfamiliar with. Who speaks Primordial?
I do.
I do.
Riven does. It's hard. Like Primordial is definitely the base language here, but it's also like quite heavily in a different accent that makes it hard to pick up the details. But you get the gist that the men are ordered to take you into custody until your motivations and connections can be ascertained.
You guys, they want to, like... No, I'm not going to say arrest us, but...
Detain us.
I think we're being detained.
They're gonna take you to a small internment camp outside of Amarillo, Texas, where you will be separated from your children.
Yikes.
Oh, thank God I don't have any of those.
How quickly you forget.
I will say...
Oh, I'm going to adopt a little boy.
Yeah.
Fuck, Sam. I forgot about that.
I'm gonna say in Primordial that we're happy to cooperate, but time is absolutely of the essence, so how long will this take?
That will depend on the court.
On the court?
You say you're here to speak to the queen.
Yes.
As such, whether or not you make an appearance is up to the court. He seems to be referring to court in the sense of a royal one,
Yes.
not a law.
Not illegal, right, yeah. No, I get
It's
it.
still a problem though, because I'm kind of friends with Marima on the down low. And there might be political reasons why she wouldn't want to see it. So officially.
Son of a bitch. Maya.
As you're pondering your circumstance, most of your weapons and equipment are gathered up. There's about 20 men in this platoon, and they're not like being rough, but quite efficient as they sort of like.
There's like 20 of them? Holy hell.
Yeah.
Do they
Like a-
take my staff?
Yes.
Riven doesn't like that. She would, like, not aggressively, but be very, like, not want to let it go.
Maya, maybe you can message Saranthia to send to Marima. I know that they met. At least, I know she met Zenobia, but I thought Marima came.
Yeah.
No. Marima never came, but
No?
she did meet Zenobia.
Okay.
Alright. Tell
Maybe we can get this
Saranthia
rushed.
to message Zenobia that we're about to be detained by the teleport circle police.
And we also need to speak to her and Marima immediately.
Her and her mom immediately.
So step on it, kid.
Yeah,
Don't tell
you're
me that
both
part.
aware that the last time you came here, it took you like 2 hours to walk to the palace from the teleportation circle,
Yeah.
as it is
Mhm.
slightly outside of town. So even if she was to get a message to her, it would probably take her like that long to get to you guys, and
Yeah, it might be really good timing.
Out.
like I said, teleportation inside the city is limited.
Right.
But yeah, let's do that and not cause a scene.
Yeah.
Don't think we want the scene, no.
The guard that's like talking with Riven, and by talking I mean tugging on the other end of her staff. There's a bit of like, give it to me. No, I don't want to. Give it to me. No, I don't want to.
And I will curse in water at him. How dare he take my staff? This is
Burble,
mine.
burble, burble.
Yeah, just like...
And he's like, crunch, crunch, crash, crash, sound of earth. And it's kind of like, oh my god, let it go, you foolish child. You'll get it back at the end of all of this.
Riven, let's go.
He almost like overbalances, takes a step back, straightens himself, puts the staff under one arm, and gestures for you to start walking.
Riven makes a squelch sound and sticks her tongue out at him before she starts walking.
One of the other guards kind of like, not smiles, but there's like a twitch at his mouth. Quickly composes himself as you start walking. Can I get stealth checks with disadvantage from all of you?
Interesting.
Health check?
Stealth checks.
Yeah, you were trying to
Advantage.
keep a low
Wow.
profile.
11!
10.
Look at the big
This is
stealthy
being
dragon
really
ball.
laggy. Okay, here we go.
How are you that stealthy?
Just short of a nat 20.
Yeah. Like, as so far as the not standing out, you're a bunch of white people. And it's Jamorn has that quality of like being able to fit in almost anywhere. There's just like something in the way that, you know, he wears his outfit right now. Has a scarf that he like pulls slightly up. And there are there are a few dragonborn here, not a lot. Quite a few kobolds though. So Tolesh is probably the person who like naturally fits in the best.
Huh.
I can
Maya
fit in
and
well, but I don't want to alarm all these guards following
yeah,
us.
you get the sense that if you were to change your face in the middle of this procession,
That
you
would
might get a
bring more
quick
attention
kick
than
to the head.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as not raising any alarms as you are marched across the bridges, I mean, it's not exactly alarms, but people definitely take notice. I mean, the last time strange white people showed up, there were those two girls who tried to bathe with the swimming dinosaurs.
What a bunch of loonies.
Yeah.
I know,
And
right?
destroyed an ancient temple.
Hey,
Don't
not
worry
know
about it.
that part
It was
yet.
Yeah, I
an
was just gonna say
accident.
maybe we don't mention the temple
Yeah,
that
we
got
don't mention
destroyed.
that at all.
But
First
now
rule of
you've
Flight
got me
Club.
interested.
You don't talk about Flight Club.
Yeah, you don't talk about Flight Club.
The four of you make your way into the city proper. You are taken to what appears to be like a barracks area. It's quite large, has a training ground in the middle, and you are taken to what appears to be like maybe an office. Probably belonging to an officer of some sort. Most of the guards split away from the group. But there's about like 5 of them who come with you. 2 of them stay in the room and the other 3 kind of like take up positions, various exits. Seems like a pretty like well-oiled machinery. We will send a runner to the palace. I'll expect we'll hear from them shortly. And then time passes. And you wait. Your
Want to play some
weapon-
dice?
I what?
Want to play some dice? This
Sure.
is terribly boring.
You have dice?
Yes.
Then yes, I do.
Wonderful.
Your weapons and equipment are not in the room with you.
I mean, I could.
But I am in the room.
I don't want us getting antsy and just like busting out of here.
Mm-hmm.
At least if
How
I
many
can
other
help it.
people are in the room with us?
3. No, 2. 2 people in the room with you.
Hmm.
And it's like for the first 10 minutes, they're like watching you intently, but then after 10 minutes, they're like, oh my god, this is fucking boring. You are offered like something to drink and something to eat.
Yeah, may as well.
Yeah.
It's like water and some fruit juices as well as like a selection of like fish and fruits with a bit of bread. Quite simple, but you know.
Not the worst as far as internment by the government goes.
No.
Yeah. I feel like you get the impression that most of the time they do this, it's simply like traders who didn't have, you know, who
Right.
forgot to. Like, they do this on a pretty regular basis, and never in their lifetime has it been an enemy incursion. So it's mainly like, this is another boring piece of bureaucracy that they have to deal with. So you play some dice, have a little snack, play some more dice, and it's hard to like pinpoint how much time have passed, but you would guess a little over an hour when there is a knock on the door. Two men enter. They are wearing quite familiar garments to most of you, or to two of you. These are royal guards.
Yes.
No Snowy in tow, though.
They step into the room, take a look around, nod to the two guards that are in the room, and they leave. And there's like a couple of heartbeats. You can hear their footsteps down the hallway, and then you hear another set of footsteps. Lighter, not armored. And Marima enters the room. You know, when I told you I had enemies and would prefer that you kept a more anonymous profile, being marched to the streets was not exactly what I had in mind.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Did not all go according to plan.
Very well.
You didn't have to come all this way. We could have come to you. But thank you for appearing.
When I received word, it seemed more efficient for me to come here. Keeping you away from the palace is safer for everyone.
True.
Why have you returned?
Are we the only ones in the room?
There's the two royal guards with you.
I mean, that's fine, I think.
We need answers to very specific questions.
Don't we all?
Well, if you have any specific questions that I can answer for you, I'll be happy to. But
What
you-
happened to the first temple?
Temple.
Give me a deception check with disadvantage. Morn.
No.
That's not bad. It's pretty bad.
Was that triple dis? Oh.
Oh yeah, it was triple. I accidentally.
You rolled
Triple disadvantage.
You've rolled
That's
5
good.
times, the last 2, and you've managed to roll 3 20s.
Yeah,
What?
and none of them counted.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
Damn. Well, yeah, so, well, the first one, yeah, it would have been 15, 20. I hit the wrong disadvantage.
Honestly-
I forget that there's the minus.
I'm not sure what happened. We did visit, but it just started collapsing as we left. I'm
I
not
don't
sure why.
actually know either, but we were in it, and I know at least a couple of us barely made it out. Kestrel never actually told me what the fuck happened, and she was alone.
I don't think she
there.
ever told anyone. Yeah.
No.
Nope, she did not.
She was filled with shame and regret.
Yep. But in the end, it saved you all.
Did it?
Well, you
feels
don't
like
know
it
what
didn't.
you don't know what happened, so technically, you're not lying.
Plausible deniability. Thanks for that.
Exact- You're welcome.
Right.
There was a strange moss in that temple, and someone who was quite the botanist that was with us mentioned that it shouldn't really be in the Shattered Teeth, to her knowledge. It was more of a Marquesian plant or fungus. And it was highly toxic.
The temple has been abandoned for centuries.
Well,
Not
we
surprised there is.
Many dead
Much wild-
worshippers in there. Skittles, can you not? I'll be extremely right back.
Cat issues.
Yep. Are you comfortable talking about anything and everything with the people in this room? Or should we find a safer place?
I dare say the questions I would be uncomfortable talking about is not something you would raise in a group of people.
Wouldn't be so sure.
Get back.
Ask your questions, Jamon.
The avatar of Io.
Leave the room. And her guards pretty immediately like, la la la, I did not hear anything of that, as they just turn on their heels and leave the room.
I thought not.
What about the avatar?
Is it you?
Hmm. For now.
Zenobia later.
Maybe. She has the spark, but there haven't been a true avatar in a long time.
What would precipitate a true avatar?
There is a spark in us, but for it to be a true avatar, it needs to be ignited. Those who are true avatars. Their magic is more. I am a talented Balkan. This is true. But my magic is my own. The true avatars. They could create Mithril. I'm afraid my power stopped just short of that. Can I get a religion check from someone? Or anyone?
Sure.
Sure, let's all religion it up.
I'm for more religion than Jam.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
Consistency.
Yeah, we're terrible.
So I'm religious.
It all sounds like a bunch of religious mumbo jumbo to you.
Yeah. I think Jam just like kind of presses between his eyes a little bit. Look, here's what we know. We need answers. We need to figure this out a lot sooner than later, and we just don't have time. I'll
What do you
share the prophecy with her and explain that, like, hey, there's a fucking seal. There's a thing called the living seal, and that's a person that we know. Like, I will info dump Marima on this.
You
share
believe you
with-
have found the tomb,
Yes.
the vial.
Mm-hmm.
This is wonderful news indeed. We have been searching for such a long time.
Well, we found it. But there's a second seal.
What do you mean a second seal?
How familiar is she with, like, the whole, all of that? Like, the fact that Aya was, like, I'm sure that she must know if she's...
Yeah.
She knows I was like,
Yeah,
down
she's
there.
gotta know
Does
at
she
least as
know
much
that
as
she
we do
was
about it.
betrayed and
Right.
sacrificed.
This is the one place where they worship Io and
Right.
not the other gods.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, they seem to be generally down on the other gods and talk of them as like the traitors and
Which historically seems to be correct. So I'm putting a little bit more trust in Marima than I am others with divulging the information. I'm not going to tell her where it is. I don't think we should do that just yet. But
Well, not yet,
Yeah.
at least.
so you see,
what do you know about the second seal? If the first one was created by the gods, then what created the second one?
I guess we don't know.
We do know. We do.
Well, Telesh knows. He just hasn't explained it in detail to the rest
Yeah.
of the party.
I entirely forgot to do that. So Tal'Dorei will just take a short step forward. Well, we do know who created the second seal. I just forgot to mention it a little earlier.
Oh,
Yes. Pardon. A lot happened. My mind was not in the right place.
I get that.
Io created the second seal. She created the second seal and sealed herself. So she is very much still alive. To a
But
degree.
why?
I don't know. All I know is that if that seal is broken, she will be free. And it will not interfere with the first seal in any way.
I think I
This-
might have a hunch as to why she did that.
Okay.
To probably not disappear entirely.
Well, perhaps. But if she were to die, and it appears she was mortally wounded, even as a god, her spark might have been up for
Take-
grabs.
Yes.
She did this so that no one would take her spark and use it for malicious purposes. Or is to even preserve the other seed. I'm not sure.
Whatever the case, that is the second seal and what's behind it.
Well, I think this is definitely grave news indeed, and something that would require our immediate attention. The situation here is still unstable, but this is more important. With a few days, I should be able to gather up most of our clerics, those higher up. People who are trained in the arts of magic and know our history. If they are given an opportunity to investigate the seal, use their magic, see what they found out, we might know more.
Yeah.
Two seals, huh?
Well, 3. There's the living seal as well.
Yeah.
A key, perhaps?
Perhaps.
And I would explain that if I hadn't already, like what the living seal, like what we know about Sigrid and her bloodline and how that relates to the 13 families in their seal keeping
I
practices.
feel like you get the sense that Marima is like, she heard the living seal and she assumed like some kind of animated thing and is
Oh, it's
surprised
like a
to learn
person, yeah.
that it's an actual person.
Mhm.
Hmm. Hopefully it will not be a sacrifice.
What?
Yeah, we'd really like to avoid that.
Very much so.
It's not her fault she's the living seal.
Sacrifices are not common in the Faith. Not
That's
ones of
good.
flesh, at least. But my fate is not that of the mainlanders. We remember a time when Pelor was quite bloodthirsty.
Marima,
Hmm?
what's the outcome that you're hoping for?
I am restored.
And what does that mean for everyone?
What does that mean for you? Cut out, like I didn't hear that.
For
word.
everyone. For everyone else. Everyone that lives here in Tal'Dorei, Wildmount.
My goddess is a mother. She nurtures. She is not a vengeful or wrathful god. Io restored would be the best outcome. I'm sure of it.
I'm gonna try something foolish. Yeah, fuck.
I think that's what she honestly believes. It's just like, is that true? But
Yeah.
it's immaterial
Um,
if we can't restore Io.
She seems very. Her words are said with conviction.
So is every cultist's.
And although you don't know very much about Io, she's right. She was a mother goddess more than anything else, a creator rather than a destroyer.
I believe she was once known by the name Asgarath the World Shaper. Seems to ring a bell.
Yes, an old myth. This world is hers. There are many deities. There are few gods. And claiming that they are the same does not make it. Do you understand?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
Deities can die.
Chad makes a mental note.
Yep, they can die.
There are many ways of them doing so. But
Jem looks up in a notebook.
they can be killed. They can be erased from memory. They get their power from those who believe. They can grow weak. They can start aging. gods do not. We did not create gods, the gods created us. For us to believe or not believe, it makes no difference. They are the world shapers. Io is a god, not a deity. Which is why we know she still lives. Because even if they were to trap her in the hells and let them demons tear her limb from limb, she cannot die. Io must be restored. Because any other outcome is unacceptable. Gods cannot be killed. They can only be unmade.
Hmm.
And if Io is unmade, so is this world. And again, she does seem to believe what she's saying.
Mhm.
She has fully drank her own Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it checks out though.
It's probably closer to the truth than a lot of people who don't even know who Io is, but
I mean, it's still a religion. So
Yeah.
there's going to be like truth that's like disguised in and wrapped up in prose. But that is her faith, and that is what she believes to be true. They believe that Io made this world. And they know Io is alive because the world still exists.
I mean, unless Io does die, there's nothing to disprove that.
Exactly. At which point, no one will be around to argue that they
They'd be
were
like,
right.
told you so.
In that second when like we all turn into dust, like the ending scene of Avengers, they'll be like, "Told you so." And
I mean,
everyone
like,
will
yeah.
nod in agreement since they're all here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll speak for myself. Personally, I would like to free Io. But we don't even know how to do that.
We have some of the wisest. We will bring people with us. We have searched for her tomb for a long time. Now that you know where it is, our real work begins. How to free
Whichever-
Io without releasing.
Right. Why does this make me feel so nervous as a player and as a character?
Because it's a really big decision.
Yup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then our real work begins. Let's get started.
Okay, yep. Let's do that.
Yes.
We failed the religion check so hard
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like rationally is the only way that we can approach that.
Yep.
And all signs all along have pointed to the gods not helping.
Yep.
We've only ever really encountered the Raven Queen and Cord, of course, who just tried to decapitate a loved one. We've encountered shadowy drow goddess. And nobody wants to help. And why would they want to help? They don't care. They don't have to care. They don't live here. They don't have any skin in the game. I think Marima does.
The only problem is she doesn't have objectivity, I don't think.
No, but neither
And
do
not
I.
fully, anyway. Yeah, true. I guess maybe none of us do.
I mean, the stake of the world is at hand. I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh, let's think of this objectively. It's only our continued survival
Existence,
as a species that's
right.
on the line.
Yeah, I guess true. As long as the people we're dealing with want that same thing of continued existence,
Which she seems to.
I think it'll be okay.
That makes me think, like, gods exist because people believe in them, correct?
Yes.
If there's
Deities exist
Deities,
because
yes.
people.
Deities.
Well, yeah.
We're now differentiating those.
Yeah,
Important difference.
According to Marima.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Between those who exist because people believe in them and those who exist because they created those who believe.
Makes
Fair
me wonder if they completed and performed my play and everyone started believing in Aya, what would happen?
Nothing, because she's a god.
Well, according to Marima. Couldn't hurt to have worshippers, you know? I don't know.
I mean, having Marima believes that those who are given the spark are capable of becoming gods. When the spark is ignited, they are capable of becoming gods.
Sure.
So, if that is to be, believed, while Io doesn't need humans to believe in her, she would probably get stronger if people did. But at the same time, she doesn't need people to believe in her because
Right.
she
She
can
won't
create
like be
gods.
erased from existence.
Yes, because she can create gods,
Mm-hmm.
other gods, or other deities at least.
There is the one conflict of interest that I can see.
And what is that?
Well, if she's sparked, so to speak, and Io is in that tomb, and Io sealed herself in to keep that away from people, that does provide an ulterior motive for Marima to claim that for herself.
Right.
I mean, I don't think Telesh has shared this, but according to his god, he has, seeded Telesh with some, being a god's avatar basically means that they put a spark in you. So the avatars of gods are often the ones who attain divinity if they see their quest through.
Interesting.
No, Telesh have not said that at all, because I must have missed that somewhere.
Well, it's Cord. He would never be like, I've given you a gift.
Yeah.
But he did say that some of his power lived in
He's
you.
gifted, yeah, so the wording.
Because the Cord, that's what his divinity is. It's power. But it's different for all the gods.
Well,
I heard an intake of breath from Rue at the... I might have become a god. Too late. Kestrel had the spark.
Oh, I know. I mentioned that to Ash.
when do you want to leave?
It will take me a few days to bring everyone I would want to with me. Most of them are at the archives.
Do any of the rest of us have any opposition? I think this should be unanimous.
To staying here a few days?
To bringing Marima.
Oh, well. At this point, having everything and everyone that is capable and willing to help, I don't think we have the luxury of declining them. So, yes, I'm for it.
Yeah.
Very well. I shall start making preparations. Jamon,
Marima.
where are we going?
Wildmount.
And there's this look of I knew it, but there's obviously been discussions on where the tomb would be located.
Of course.
So this is definitely a place that has been,
Sure.
suspected.
I mean, I guess I could be more specific and tell her, excuse me, tell her to get to Baden, isn't it?
Baden. We'll be there.
Well,
3 days from now.
How many?
3 days from
3
now.
days. Okay. That does give me a little bit of time.
Of course. Your time is your own. We can get to Wildmount.
We're kind of here for the night, though.
Yeah, we are.
Of course. For now, I think it's better if you avoid the palace. I will arrange for some rooms for you.
Thank you.
Marima, I wonder if I could ask a favor of you. And I don't know if you're capable of it personally, but could you send me somewhere off this plane?
Where would you like to go?
Well, I would need my things, but shit, I don't have my equipment.
I'm sure that will be easy to arrange. As soon as I let my men back in the room.
There is a conversation I'd like to have before we all arrive and get back to work. It's just hard for me to get where I need to go. I
Where
have
is
something of a map.
Okay.
And I wish I could tell you where it is, but I don't know. I just get there sometimes. But it should be easier now. I have a fork.
She sort of reaches out her hand.
Like she's reaching out for my hand?
No, more like she's reaching out for like an item.
Well, it's with my things. I don't have them. I could get them. I'll go get them.
I need my tool.
I need my tools. Am I allowed to go and get my bag?
I feel like the second the door opens, you see the two royal guards standing right outside the door. And Marima's like, bring them their things.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll get everything re-equipped and then hand her the tuning fork.
Strange. I've never been here. I'll need a little time.
Sure.
I need to meditate on it before I can send you there.
Okay. I'll be available.
And see. Okay. So, after about 10 minutes, she seems satisfied. Picture it in your mind.
Okay. I have the tuning fork back, right?
No, she's still holding it. Like, she needs
okay.
it as she's casting the
Okay.
spell.
Okay.
And you can sort of like feel like there's a saving throw, but I assume you're choosing to fail. Like, she's looking
Yes.
at your memory of it.
Yes.
And as the royal guards escort you to an inn, Jamorn and Marima vanish from view.
Well,
If she's plane shifting, she kind of has to go too, so. Maya, Tolesh, and Riven, you are taken to a place. Maya, you've been here before. Thing. You came here for dinner once.
Okay.
It's like a guest house. So there's like eating and socializing facilities in the lower floors, and then they rent out rooms. It's like it's fancier than an inn. For like here you get like suites, not rooms. And yeah, you are given some sets of rooms for the night. And one of the royal guards stays behind, mainly to operate as like if you need anything or.
Sure.
But from there, you're generally left to your own devices. Is there anything specific you would like to do while in the Shattered Teeth? Partying and drinking until the morning? Got it.
No, Riven kind of just wants to go and walk around until it gets dark. She doesn't like being indoors.
Yeah, it's quite a strange city with obvious influence from the elemental planes.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
To be honest, of all the places she's been to so far, this one reminds her the most of home. It's an island nation that is full of like primordial themed things.
mm-hmm. There's much nature. This city is kind of like caught between the elements, and instead of working against them, the city has like decided to work with it. On the edge of a giant waterfall, which is probably where the city collects most of its power. Mills and such are all run by water. And the sound of rushing water can be heard, like no matter how deep into the city you go, the water's always there. Very close.
Mm-hmm.
Because the city itself is built on smallish islands and cliffs on the edge of the waterfall. And you do see like dinosaurs, people riding dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
It is much dinosaur. And I think with you guys settled away and Jamorn on mission, that is where we shall take our 10-minute break.
Hey.
you move through time and space. And you find yourself on outside a very familiar house with a very familiar bridge that leads to very familiar falling damage.
If one were to fall.
If one were to fall.
As one might.
Is Marima still with me, or is this...
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, but
I will hold my hand out for the fork.
she hands it over.
Thank you for taking me. I won't keep you any longer. I can't actually bring anyone else any closer.
Can you get back on your own?
I've always managed to before.
Wow.
But how did I always get back before? How did I always get back before? I, as a human being, can't think. I always thought they sent me back.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They've always kind of like pushed you.
Yeah, but then I've like appeared somewhere else, right? Like I haven't hiked.
No.
Yeah, okay.
They sort of like push you out and you reappear somewhere that they are familiar with on the material.
Right. Yes. Okay, good. Yeah.
We never saw Jam again.
Yes.
Whoa, no
This
character.
is how it ends.
Yep.
And like always, the cabin seems to exist in those late afternoon hours just before sunset, or those early morning hours just before dawn. The sun just barely peeking over the horizon window, lit up from the inside, and a little drift of smoke from the chimney.
I'll carefully cross the bridge, as always. But I think I'm gonna spend, I mean, not a lot of time, but definitely deliberately take in just, like, the surroundings, rather than, like, focusing on the cabin or anything like that before I, knock on the door.
Give me a perception check. On one side of you, the sun is already, or maybe still, illuminating the landscape. And on the other side, it is dark. This cabin seems to exist here between day and night.
Okay. Yeah,
You
I'll
can
go.
roll me an intelligence check.
Okay.
No. Doesn't truly ring any bells. Think you're still not completely sure what plane this is on.
Yeah, that's okay.
As you get closer to the cabin, you can hear movements inside. A woman laughing. Something big and old moving.
Just kind of smile as I'm picturing what the hell's happening in there. And yeah, I will gather myself and knock on the door.
It's open.
I'll let myself in.
You see Vex is on the floor. Seemingly engaged in some kind of wrestling match with Trinket. Percy is sitting pretty close by, reading. And it seems to be like a very familiar scene. Like, he will move his feet out of the way of like their wrestling match without ever looking at them.
Yeah, he's been here before.
Yeah.
Sure.
Many a time. Jamoin, you're back.
I am.
Are you well?
Yeah, I am. I think so. You look like you're both doing well. You're all three doing well.
Can't complain.
How familiar are you with what happens outside?
Not very.
You, I don't really have the luxury of time, I don't think. There's something I wanted to ask you directly.
Of course.
What is this place, and how did it come to be?
It's a reward.
From who?
To be honest, I'm not completely sure. She brought us here.
Someone that you know?
You know her too. She's brought you here.
What, the unicorn?
Yes.
Can you bring people here?
Can't leave. I mean, we can leave the cabin. We just can't leave this plane. It's the price we pay. And Percy's kind of like, it's the price I pay.
That's
Like, there's a
interesting.
difference. We were getting older. And again, there's that Hurum from Percy that's obviously like, I was getting older.
Right.
Time was running out. And there's like a shush you. She gave us a to stay together forever, or? Wow. It wasn't really a choice.
I understand.
We built this cabin. Made a home. There are other people here. But, well, we enjoy their visit, but we also enjoy our privacy. That's why we decided on here.
Do
And
you
like the
know
cabin
where
is,
you
of
are?
course,
Where?
paradise.
Okay. You said that there are others here? I mean,
Yes.
obviously not here, but around?
This plane is very connected to nature. But there are other things. Solars, planetars, divas. Even some other humans. Gnomes, dwarfs. Quite a few gnomes.
Thank you. That's actually very helpful. I didn't mean to interrupt your wrestling match.
It's quite alright, Jamon. You look like you have things on your mind. Do you want to talk about it?
No. I don't think there's anything left to talk about. There's a lot of things happening right now, and may not be long before everything changes a lot. And I don't know what that'll mean for me or anyone else, but we're trying.
I know. That's why we chose you. Why she chose you. That's the problem with having a destiny, Jamon.
Is that what it is?
Well, it's what I like to blame.
Yeah, that's fair.
You'll figure it out. You're clever. And you have friends that you can trust.
I know at least one of those things is true.
Well, it always worked for us. Trust your gut. Don't take
Yeah.
unnecessary risk. You should be fine.
I will be.
It's always darkest right before the dawn.
Thanks, Vex.
Is it time for you to go home?
It is.
It was good to see you again, Jamorn.
You too. Percy.
He
Not
sort
Adam.
of like pushes his glasses slightly further up the bridge of his nose and flips a page. He's like, Jamorn, never taking his eyes off the page. Seeming quite happy to let his wife deal with all those pesky emotions.
Yep. Good. Okay. Yeah, I'm good to go. Is it possible to send me back to Whitestone?
You should go home, Joe. Well, she doesn't say that. She says you should go home, Jamorn.
Yeah.
And she gives you a little push. Wee wee. And you find yourself in Whitestone. Actually, not quite in Whitestone. In the forest. Maybe 35 minutes walk from your house.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just walk straight there. And we can cut away if we want to, yeah.
What are the rest of you up to?
Believe, like, this is a strange land. The legend's been here before. He's got no connection, no nothing. Spent most of his time probably drinking and going over what just happened that entire day.
Why don't you give me a constitution?
Sure. I love those.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, for once, you allow your the drinks here are strange to your palate. And a lot of them are like sweeter than what you're used to. Like there's a lot of like fruit juices and stuff used to. So you're drinking what appears to be maybe like a screwdriver, but in actuality is more of a Long Island iced tea. So you're
Yeah,
like,
okay.
this doesn't taste like alcohol at all. And then you stand up and you're like, no, wait, I feel it now.
I can't feel my legs.
Oh, it was only alcohol. That's funny how that works.
I swear to God, I have like an alcohol sensor at the back of my throat. Like,
Interesting.
if I drink, like, I hear like my sister being like, no, this doesn't taste like alcohol at all. And I take a sip of Long Island iced tea and I'm like, this is pure alcohol. I can feel it in my gag reflex. And then I get like traumatic flashbacks to when I was like 17 and drinking Galliano hot shots and thought I was real hot shit. And then threw up coffee and cream all over the floor.
Fun.
Oh, shots. You were never a good idea. At least you were kinder to me than tequila.
Oh, God.
I don't drink tequila anymore.
No. Nope.
I decided I chose life.
Right.
Yeah. This is quite like a fancy establishment. So as long as you're not like disturbing the other guests, they'll keep serving you drinks. But
He is not out to disturb anything today.
when your swaying becomes a distraction, they'll be like, how about we bring a pitcher to your room? Where you can drink in privacy and peace.
That sounds like a perfect idea.
And someone will make sure to assist you in the process of walking. And you can drown your sorrows however much you want. Which seems to be much.
Yes.
Much drowning.
Much drowning, as his religious belief has kind of to an extent been shattered.
I know, it's rough.
Yeah.
I do that to people. And Maya, what are you doing?
I'm gonna take another flight around the city.
As a giant eagle?
Yeah. I will avoid all the water, however, but just thinking of my old flight club partner and the times we had here. Or maybe to not think too hard about it because Giant Eagle has like pretty low intelligence.
Too intelligence. You're like thinking about Kestrel transforms into a giant eagle, and then you're like, ooh, rabbit. When the 4 F's of evolution take over.
Mm.
You will flee from bigger birds, fight smaller ones, eat them, and end up with an egg. I see.
Mm-hmm.
And Riven, you're still just like exploratory.
I'm gonna take a hike up where we first teleported to.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to leave the city. And go into like the forest woods area.
Why don't you roll me a survival?
I can do these. $23.
Yeah. You find your way easily enough. The path is quite clearly marked. And once you get to like this plateau that's overlooking, the forest stretches on quite a bit. It's quite unlike the forest you are used to from Tal'Dorei.
Yeah.
Quite thick.
Mm-hmm.
And there are like rolling hills. So almost rainforesty, I would say. And as you walk, like there's definitely a sense that you're walking upwards, but soon your line of sight is removed with the dense foliage. It's nice. The sounds of nature, even if these are not that of your own, they are still familiar to you. The creaking of trees, the rustling of leaves in the breeze. You can still hear that like undertone of thunder that is rushing water from the waterfall, but also softer sounds of trickling streams, smaller animals moving in the undergrowth, birds. It's warm. Not uncomfortably so, but a lot warmer than Whitestone.
Mm-hmm. It's like home. Lived on tropical islands. This is about as nice as it's been for me in a while.
Sure.
Riven is going to try and find like just a place that she can kind of like kneel down on the ground, and it has a little bit more open space.
Yeah, you can find like the occasional clearing in the trees.
Yeah, she gonna go kneel down there, and she's gonna take Monsoon off her back and lay it down in front of her. And she's gonna meditate in the woods with her staff.
Uh, Give me a wisdom check.
A check?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 16.
Monsoon feels slightly different. Like it's resonating on another frequency almost. You can sense like that there is a quite heavy influx of the elemental planes on this continent.
Yeah.
And you know that there are like elemental nodes here as well.
Yeah.
So
it would feel kind of like, I guess, being close to where the Ashari stayed.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah.
And it reminds you of home in many ways. Not just the temperature, but the sense of the place, of being so close to the elements.
Yeah, Riven focuses in on that feeling. She misses home. She misses her family.
Yeah, I feel like that's strengthened by being here. It's so familiar, but also so alien. And it's been a long time since you hugged your mom. Plural. You have people
Multiple.
waiting there for you. People who want to see you. The letter is still tucked away in your inner pocket.
Yeah,
I will take the letter that my mom's wrote back to me
Mm-hmm.
out of my pocket, and I will kind of like set it so it's like leaning up against Monsoon on the ground so that I can like stare down, but it's like not full on against the ground basically, so it's not going to get too damaged. And I'd like to cast a spell.
What spell would you like to cast?
I'd like to scry on my mom.
Aw.
Okay.
actually more specifically, I would like to, because I can, instead of targeting a creature, I can choose a location. I'd like to scry on my like childhood home. I'd like to see my childhood home.
You see your kitchen. You see White Eye cooking something. As you're watching, it takes you a moment to realize what it is. But it's a recipe that's familiar to you from your childhood. You see Nazira entering from the outside, walking up behind White Eye and hugging her. They're talking softly. Can't really make out what they're saying. But they're smiling, and after a few moments, White Eye completes her cooking and they sit down to eat. There are 3 places set on the table. You can feel the scrying slipping away as 10 minutes pass of their Just being very domestic.
When she slips out of the scrying, Riven kind of just like curls in on herself and presses her forehead against the ground and kind of just cries for a bit. She didn't think when she chose to adventure and to explore and learn about the world that she would miss home so much, and she misses home so much.
If a water genasi cries in the woods, does that make it scream?
I just full on turn into a puddle, and that's my life now. I am a jungle puddle.
Meanwhile, back in Whitestone,
Oh, yeah?
Jamoran sees a very familiar gate to a very familiar house.
Yeah, if everybody's there, is everybody there?
At your house,
Yeah.
feel you enter and you hear a very familiar voice. My ankles are swollen, my feet hurt. If you're a burglar, you better get out because I will shoot you. And you see your lovely and quite visibly pregnant wife step into the room with a crossbow, which she immediately drops. The arrow fires and sort of ricochets across the floor before she jumps you. You're home.
I had a moment to stop by, yeah. And just, like, turn and look at where the arrow landed. Like, maybe next time. I'm not dropping the crossbow.
Shush you. I missed you.
I missed you too. I heard there was some trouble with an outhouse.
Georgie's magic now.
Ah,
Or maybe she always was.
right.
I don't know. It's weird.
Okay, well, if I need to do anything about that, let me know. Is it okay? We figured it out, or?
I took her to the temple.
Okay.
Sinli. She checked her out. Well, magic never hurt anyone, right?
Right.
Well, being magic never hurt anyone.
Yeah.
You know
okay.
what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. Hey, speaking of magic, is Georgie here, or is she?
No, she's outside
Okay.
playing. It's like late afternoon, maybe 5, 6. Just after dinner, but before bedtime. You should be in the backyard.
All right. I don't have a ton of time. I do have to get back. But there is a few things that I want to talk to you about.
Of course.
First of all,
Are you
hmm?
Are you hungry? There's still some dinner left.
Sure. Not gonna turn down cooking. So things are developing really quickly. And I think that we're really onto something. And I really believe that all of this this world-ending stuff is almost done. I think we've done a lot, and that should be really good news. And as soon as this is done, I don't really have any plans to keep it up. I'd much rather be here.
Yeah. Well, I should hope so. You have a fabulous wife.
Yeah,
And
I do.
beautiful children. Who kicks a lot.
And I wish I could be here more now, because I feel bad. But, I mean, I know that you understand. There's something I want to give you, though. Just insurance.
What do you mean insurance?
I'll give her the fork.
What's this?
If, in the unlikely event, something goes wrong, or I'm completely wrong about every hunch that I have, talk to Saranthia soon, or I can talk to her. Find her if it feels like things aren't right. This will take you somewhere safe. And bring Georgie.
Everything will be okay, Jamon.
I know. And that's why this isn't, you know, it's insurance. It makes me feel better knowing that you have it.
Okay. If something feels wrong, I'll take it to Saranthia.
All right. What time of day is it?
Late afternoon, like around 6 maybe.
Okay. I'll probably just stay there then, for the evening and talk to Saranthia in the morning. I'll mention what I gave Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
I won't mention, like,
where it goes
specific. Like, I'll say where it goes in very general terms, but, like, I'm not going to mention who's there because I'm not supposed to.
Yeah.
but enough that like she could make the spell work and get them to the right place.
Yeah.
And then yeah, tell her like, hey, here's where we're at with this thing. Here's what we're doing, because like she's a council member, she could, she needs to know this shit too. And basically just take the opportunity to fill her in outside of sending messages and things like that. A little bit more detailed what's going on with the Shattered Teeth and all that, and Marima. And then, yeah, ask her if she can get me back to actually either the Shattered Teeth, which would be tougher, I think. I think she can get me back to Baden.
I was thinking probably in the night that we were like left to our own devices and you went to like wherever.
Yeah.
I would have used our sending stones and just been like,
oh yeah,
are you okay? And where are we meeting back up? So you can use
perfect,
that
smart.
to-
Yeah, so I would have told you I'll meet you back in Baden. That way you don't have to make multiple trips or whatever.
Okay.
And yeah.
Right.
Do you go see Georgie?
Yes.
Or do you wait for her to come in inside from the outs?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I'd be spending the night there, so yeah, I'd let her play, and then whenever she came in, yeah.
Yeah. She's quite excited to see you home. She seems to be a fairly happy and well-adjusted shadow sorcerer child.
Yeah,
Um,
as they tend to come.
She excitedly tells you about playing in the forest with her friends, and she's made good friends and they're sharing secrets, which is how you know someone is a really good friend.
Yes.
And her bird is the best, and he's friends with her friends too,
I'm glad the
and
bird's
they are
getting
friends
along.
with him. So that is good.
It's a very healthy social circle.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess kids would find a mechanical bird a cool pet.
Yeah.
In fact, she kind of chatters your ear off before eventually falling asleep like 30 minutes after her bedtime and then
Yeah.
being carried to bed. And the next morning, you are sent off on your merry way to Baden.
Good deal.
Tolesh, roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Yep. Oh, I'm good at these. Ooh.
And the Wisdom save.
Oh, God. Well.
Now there's something you don't see every day.
Like
Yeah,
all
exactly.
day.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Your dreams are not nice. You keep replaying the events of yesterday morning in your mind, and in some of them you don't stop. Not in time, at least. You feel this rage, this anger that is not your own, that seems to ebb and flow through you like water. It's strange. I mean, you're drunk, which is a pretty new sensation here. Or maybe a very old sensation that you haven't felt in a while. And often your dreams are quite like linear, and you can follow them and you can remember them, but they're not. they're just like fractions and tidbits jumping back and forth and ever circling back to that moment on the battlefield until you wake up. You do get the benefits of a long rest, even if you don't feel very well rested.
Mm. Wonderful.
Riven, do you make it back to your rooms, or do you sleep in a puddle in the forest?
I'll come back, but it won't be until like late.
Give me a survival with disadvantage. Yeah, I feel like you stay in the grove until it's dark. And then you realize, oh shit, I don't have dark vision. And it's really hard to maneuver a strange forest that you've never been in before without dark vision. Especially a jungle. It's all like trees and lianas and shit. So it takes you quite a while to like... You're like moving very directionlessly until you finally find a place where there's a hole in the canopy to the extent that you can see the lights from the city and at least get your bearing of like what direction you need to head in.
Mm-hmm.
And even knowing that, it takes you quite a while to find the path that leads back to the city. So it's maybe like 2 o'clock in the morning before you finally return to the inn.
That's fine.
With like leaves and twigs in your hair from being a puddle.
Mm-hmm.
And Maya, you do the sending, you get the I'm fine from Jamorn and make arrangements to meet in the morning. And a new dawn breaks, full of new opportunities to do good or fuck up.
Probably mostly the latter.
I mean, it's a mixed bag with you guys.
Speaking
It
of
is.
ladders and bridges, I want to specifically state that I mentioned the perilousness of that bridge. Just so that that's on the record.
Be careful on the bridge. And
Watch
she's like,
that
"What are you-
first
what-
step.
What do you mean? You'll understand when you get there. Be careful of the bridge. Why are you being so fucking cryptic? It's complicated.
I mean, if Saranthia's there, I hope they
It's a
can
literal
figure it out.
bridge. And it won't look like it's in good condition. You should be careful like any reasonable person would. We weren't.
Did you fall off a bridge?
Not me, but others almost. Yes.
Oh. Fine, I'll be careful on the bridge.
Okay, great.
I'll wear comfortable shoes.
Yeah.
And the next morning you leave. How, like, do you linger or...
I'll ask people what, I'll ask Rivet and Telesh how they feel, but I'm pretty much ready to go back to...
Very much so ready to go back as well. Got nothing to do here.
Yeah.
Apart from getting into trouble.
Yeah. I feel like there's a bit of lingering, like Telesh didn't sleep the greatest, and
Right.
Riven was a bit late, so
It takes a
around
while.
10 in the
Sounds
morning.
about right.
And how about you, Jamorn?
Yeah, he'd probably linger knowing that, like, Marie was not going to be there for another 2 days anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. But at the same time, he's super motivated to, like, fix this whole thing and be done with it.
Yeah.
So, I don't think he wants to. I mean, none of the time would be wasted per se, but yeah, he's kind of all about the business right now, so. Yeah, enough time to have like a normal domestic morning, and yeah.
Yeah. Like Georgie seems to be quite excited to hang out with her friends. So like she just like shovels breakfast into her mouth and then it's like, I'm going out to play with my friends now. Okay, bye. And yeah, at like 9:30ish, Sarah has some errands in town, some deliveries to make. So she's gonna head off and do that,
Okay.
giving you a kiss goodbye before she leaves. And you are left alone.
Yeah.
What?
I'd go and see Saranthia then and head back.
Can you give me a perception check? Yeah, you hear voices when you leave.
Voices?
A voice in particular, that of Georgie.
Okay. From where?
There's like it's not a forest, but it's like a small forested area that's on the back of your property. Like on
Okay.
the other side from the river.
Uh-huh. And what is she saying?
Oh, as you walk a little bit closer, you can. She's excitingly telling. And then Jamorn was there, and he's not my dad, but he's my dad. And we had dinner, and I told him about how we had been playing together, and he thought it was great. See, I told you, no one would be angry about it. There seems to be another side of the conversation that you can't hear. There are occasional brief moments of silence. That's silly. He would never do that. He's great. He came and saved me once.
Fucking bird. It's possessed.
You do see the bird sort of fluttering between the trees. And you see Georgie sitting in a clearing. And I mean, you're not a very magical man, but you've been around enough magic, and you possess some talents, if you do say so yourself.
Uh-huh.
Enough to sort of like feel that hair raising on your arms and at the back of your neck. Realize that there's magic.
Okay, I want to just like observe a little bit longer and like see if I pick out any key words or parts of the conversation that clue me in a little bit who she's talking to.
Yeah, it takes you a little time to sort of make it out, but she's not alone. There's like a couple of birds, a fox, and a bunny. All around her, but very specifically.
Specifically.
In equal distance from one another and from her. She's in the middle of a circle.
Like a circle of the animals?
Yeah.
Okay.
And something else.
Uh-huh.
It's hard to say. The snow has well and truly gone, and the ground is bare. But there's darker stains around her in a circle.
All the notes.
Zara says that when the babies come, they will be my brother and sister. And I've never been a sister before, but I'm sure I'm going to be great at it. And then you'll get to meet them, and no, you can't eat them. And she's like specifically looking at the fox when she says that.
Alicia's talking to the fox and not Slender Man.
And we'll teach them things. Like walking, I'm very good at that. And talking, I'm very good at that. And like pooping, I think babies need help with that. Roll me another perception check.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like the animals are there. They're moving slightly. But not in a normal way.
Okay. What does that mean?
They're dead, Jam.
Well, okay. Okay. But they're moving.
Yes, they're animated.
Good. Okay.
Good, yes.
Okay.
Have fun.
Okay. Of all the people unequipped to deal with this situation.
I think they have books on this. What to do when your toddler is a necromancer.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try to approach. Like carefully, not like I'm trying to sneak up and like ambush them, but like to approach and sort of like let them know that I'm there. Like you hold your hand out to a dog, so it's like, okay, smell me. I'm not trying to kill you, like that type of a thing. Like
Just
announce
acting
my
like they're wrong,
presence in a non-shocking way.
Yeah, I don't think it takes very long for you to like sort of break your stealth and take a few steps.
Yeah.
And Georgie's head.
Please don't say it spins around.
Spins around, but in the
180,
normal way,
yeah, okay.
when she moves her neck.
Okay, great.
But like, she obviously didn't hear you. Like, one of the animals said something. Jam, did you come to meet my friends?
I did.
This is Foxy, and that's Crowy, and that's Dovey, and that's Mousy, and that's Bird.
Well, it's nice to meet all of your friends. You said you made friends. I didn't take it literally enough.
I didn't.
No.
I told the truth. I didn't lie.
No, you didn't. So what do you and your friends like to talk about?
There's a wolf.
Okay.
We're gonna hunt it when I get.
Why?
It killed Fox.
Oh, I'm sorry, Foxy.
The dead raven looks at you with a blank stare. The dead fox kind of like curls up into a ball.
So, Georgie. You should really be careful. Just because some people might not understand. Your friends, and it might just, people might think the wrong things about you.
Mama Zara took me to the church, and the lady said I was magic.
Yeah.
And Mama Sarah said that my magic is natural and it comes from within me. And if people have a problem with that, they should shut the fuck up.
Who said that?
Mama Zara did.
Yeah. Well, she's right.
I know. She's a grown-up.
Not all grown-ups are right, but yeah, Mama Zara's always right. You're a pretty cool kid.
Thanks. Are you hungry?
Looking around at all of the rotted carcasses. You know, I just had breakfast, so.
We're going
Okay.
mushroom hunting.
Oh, that sounds fun. Will you bring some home?
Only if they're poisonous.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
If they're not, I'll just eat them.
Good thinking.
Are you going away now?
I am, but just for a little bit.
And she sort of gets up from the circle and steps towards you. And the second that she steps over the edge, the animals kind of like flicker out of existence.
Right, okay.
And she lifts her arm up for a hug.
Yeah, I'll pick her up.
Will you bring me back something nice?
Yes. Do you have something in mind, or do you want me to pick?
Something big.
Big. Okay.
I love you. Bye. And she gives you like a wet child kiss on the cheek and then squirms to be put back down.
Okay. Yeah, I'll sit her down and let her run off with her dead animals. Jesus Christ.
And even though you can no longer see them, she obviously can, because she's like, first one to the last one to the river is a rotten egg, and she takes off running.
Rotten something, anyway.
Yeah.
And I feel you have like a pretty strong notion that when they diagnosed your child with shadow sorcery, they might not have been truly on the mark.
Uh-huh.
She might be a sorcerer, but whatever breed she is, it's definitely not shadow sorcery.
Yeah. So with that in mind, on my way to Ceranthia's, I'm gonna try to find Zara because she told me she was going to make these deliveries. So can I find her?
Yeah.
On the yeah.
Yeah, you know like what kind of delivery run she normally makes.
Yep.
Stops by a few apothecaries and a few drug dealers.
Yep.
And no, it doesn't take you very long, like maybe an hour to find her.
Right.
You're just following her route in a slightly quicker manner.
Mm-hmm.
Jamon.
Hi. So before I go, you mentioned that you took Georgie to the temple, and that she's magic. You happen to know what kind of magic?
Well, sorcerer, they're the only one who manifests before their teens.
Yeah. Have you met her friends?
I mean, all the neighborhood kids are fine. She hasn't brought anyone home for dinner yet, but...
Yeah. Well, that's good, because her friends are dead animals.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I heard her as I was leaving, and she was in the woods, sitting in the middle of a circle, talking to animated dead animals.
Did you dip into my
Nope.
supply before
Nope.
you... Oh my god. Our child is a necromancer.
Yes. Which...
We can't tell anyone about this.
No.
People
but it's
really
awesome.
don't. I mean, it's awesome unless it gets her killed. Then it's less awesome.
Well, right. Yeah, that's... obviously.
Shit. Fuck. What do I say if she brings dead animals home for dinner?
You know, did I encourage it? Yes. Did I encourage her bringing them around? No. I did tell her that people might not understand, and then she told me that you told her to tell people to fuck off.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay, we definitely need to have a talk about discretion.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking. But I thought you should know.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, honey, I'm leaving. Oh, by the way, our child is a necromancer. Deal with it while I'm gone. Thanks. You're swell.
Well, I...
Love you so much.
Okay.
Fuck. There are books about this, right? We can find out what this means.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I gotta go save the world now, so...
Have a nice day, sweetie.
You
Hey,
too.
I might have to go save the world from our child who is currently bringing the dead to life
Yep.
in our backyard.
Yep. Which I think makes us technically responsible in some way.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Good. Okay, bye.
The church cleared her and gave us to us. Whatever happened after that, not
You're
our
right.
responsibility.
You're right.
Okay, have a nice day at work, dear.
Yep. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Two people both having a panic attack walking their
Yeah.
separate ways. And eventually, you all find yourself back on familiar ground.
Can I have bought like just a quick shiny trinket from the Shattered Teeth for Saranthia before we teleport?
Yeah. Like, what kind of shiny trinket were you
Just
thinking?
like a souvenir. I don't know what Shattered Teeth is.
They
known
have a
for.
lot of like jade here.
Yeah, so just like
Carvings of like little animals, native animals, dinosaurs and stuff.
sure, a little jade carving a dino.
Okie dokie. And I think that is where we will end the session. Mainly because of a certain someone mentioning that they might be interested in playing a cleric. So before we introduce the cleric entourage that
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Marima is bringing,
show.
this would be an opportunity to introduce another character. So
Though.
I'm about it. Good session.
Yeah.
Oh, good sesh.
I've been waiting for you to